Hello and welcome to Homeschool MBA. Today we have another topic to discuss. Agenda today is who needs an MBA? We get a lot of questions asked, primarily people who are in engineering fields being asked like, should I be an MBA? Then there are questions being asked by people who are not advancing in their career that do we really need an MBA? Sometimes, managers would say, go take that class or read that, statistics or read some business lectures and you are as good as an MBA. So today I've brought my professor here, and I want to get his feedback on basically who needs an MBA. So, Professor, what's your take on what's an MBA? Who really needs it? Who benefits from this?
Okay. Basically, career development responsibility is of the employees, and corporate management is in various tiers. Like you have top management, like president of the company or chief executive of the company, and then there is a board of directors, and then there are departments and directors of the departments, and then down below. So there are various tiers. Now, in a large companies like this, there are 26 tiers of management. So normally, whether you are a doctor or you are an engineer or you are otherwise um, a business student, you start from low and you have to go up and up. So, in order to get into middle management or senior management, you need to diversify your academic credentials. Because let's say a doctor starting very junior and he becoming director of a department, or an engineer starting very junior and becoming a director of a division, needs business administration experience. And that's where the MBA comes in. So basically what you do is you diversify your academic credentials to qualify yourself to get into middle management and upwards. So that's what the basic aim of doing MBA. Now, who should do it? That is, there can be those people who are in service, like doctors, engineers, advocates, and diplomats. So they can do MBA and they can diversify their qualifications and academic credentials in order to get into the senior management. So ultimately, what you do is that at senior management level, you don't need specialists. You need jack of all, master of none type of people. So that's what I always profess that the junior executives, they should diversify their qualifications and skills to be fit to become the middle managers, and things like that.
Yep.
Yes.
I would like to add as well, like, my background is engineering, technical work. I did 10, 15 years of technical work. And then at the back of my mind was always like, I need to diversify myself. I jumped onto this MBA program. Initially, I was a little skeptical. Engineering usually works binary, uh,
Yes.
but business is an art. And now I realize, moving up the corporate ladder, I actually have more respect for the business side of things. So
Yes.
I think MBA is very relevant in career path development. That's how I see it.
Yes. I
Okay.
agree, totally agree with you. But earlier you realize the better it is.
Yeah.
Some people, you see, they put in more than 10, 15 years of service, and now service-wise, they are matured enough to get into middle management. But qualification-wise and skill development-wise, they are not matured. So earlier you start doing MBA in your career, better it is for you.
Yep. And I also feel like MBA defines things for you. Some people are born with good business acumen, so for them, I can understand that it comes easy. But people coming from different backgrounds, getting exposure to the engineering side, the business side, the finance, and all these other sides actually, like you said, jack of all, that helps you become general managers and move up the corporate ladder.
Yes, I totally agree with you.
Yep.
I totally agree with you because you see what happens is that once people get jobs, so they get into those jobs, and then there are company trainings and capacity building trainings and things like that, and they think that perhaps it's enough. But whereas these are very important skills that they develop in practical trainings and experience, but when they get into the level of middle management and senior management, then they need this MBA, Masters in Business Administration,
So
because
in your
over there you need general skills rather than special skills.
so in your career of teaching, what sort of, I know you mentioned high level, but if you had to really take back, what category of people really benefited the most? Is it engineers? Is it?
Mostly in my career, mostly those people who were in service, they benefited from MBA. Like, for example, I had very senior people like air vice marshals and major generals and, general managers, and even the people of the level of ambassadors and counselors who attended MBA classes, and they felt satisfied.
Mhm.
One of the AVMs, Air Vice Marshal, who was attending my class, at the end of the class, he said, "Sir, what have I learned from your class?"
Mhm.
I said, "Yes, you may not have learned anything from my class, but there are two things. Here, I believe in participative interactive learning.
Mhm.
The other students have learned from your experience. What we have done for you is we have converted your experience and service into academic credentials.
Mhm.
Previously, you were only Air Vice Marshal. Today, you can say Air Vice Marshal retired MBA. So that has been converted into your academic qualifications. And now you'll be compared with other AVMs, you'll better off. So that sort of things, you see, they do happen in the class. So what I feel is that those people who were in service, they benefited much more. However,
Yeah.
the fresh graduates, they also excelled in their job seeking and things like that, and some of them have become heads of the organizations because I started teaching long ago. So that's a kind of thing that
Yeah.
both categories, in service people and the regular students, both can benefit from MPA.
Yeah. Another point I want to raise, I guess, and I'm sure you will agree, is I took a good 10 years off from my bachelor's, and after that I went back to an MBA. It was like you mentioned, it wasn't just the education. Going back to school or going back taking these business classes, I met a lot of people as well. And I think going back to school, going back taking these classes, you know, kind of refreshed me. It helped me network more and realize, that there's a world beyond my cube. So I think you will agree with me that, you since you came across a lot of different
Yes,
diversified people, right?
yes.
That
Yes,
does.
what you're talking of is that you see, when you are in your middle age and you go back to school, so it gives you a facility of socialization, and you start feeling young, and you keep your skills, young, and even your thought process remains very young, and you remain that creative. So therefore, you see, let us say, Burton Russell, the British scholar, when he was dying, somebody asked him, "What is your last wish?" He said, "Live one day more and learn more." So learning never ends. Similarly, education never ends. From MBA to master to MS, and from MS to PhD, and from one PhD to another PhD, and things like that. But what I felt is that whatever you learn from the books, that perhaps is does not apply to the corporate world unless you attend the classes in in universities, socialize with people, talk to professors and teachers. You will not be able to learn how to manage at at corporate level. So basically, learning the management techniques, the organizational politics, and then emotional intelligence, and then social skills, you need to do MBA. It's a package which gives you all sorts of skills,
Mhm.
communication skills, social skills, managing your emotional intelligence, and then, of course, creating network of friends where you can, ultimately, you can make use of this network in your official jobs, and even for that matter in your personal life.
Mhm. Professor, based on your background, what age or you know time in your career do you think a person should start diversifying or start doing this MBA? Is it in their 20s, 30s, 40s? What's the best? If you had to redefine optimally, what would be the best option?
I would say that it's not more relevant to age. It is the length of service that you have put in a particular job. If
Mhm.
you have put in 10 years of service in a particular job, now you are matured enough to get promoted to the next level, that is middle management. And that's the stage that before you get into the middle management, you should have done your MBA. So what I'm saying is that after 10 years of your experience, that's the most appropriate time for you to do MBA. And this could be, if you link it with the age, some people may get 10 years experience before the age of 30. Some people may get 10 years experience who got the job much later at the age of 35. So link it with length of service, not age, but younger, the better.
Yeah. So I would like to add one comment. Like now, when I look back at my career, I was, always wanted to do an MBA, but I was always hesitant because I was doing a
Mhm,
technical job, and
mhm,
my boss would never encourage me
mhm,
to,
mhm,
diversify and move up. Maybe he was threatened by me or whatever, right? But in
mhm,
hindsight, when I think about it, is like I'd lost time because I was scared not to move from my comfort zone of technical engineering
mhm,
to the business side.
mhm,
So
mhm.
I'm curious, what's your take on people taking the plunge and saying, okay, I'm actually going to do this now.
Okay, you see, as far as this technical side is concerned, now it remains no more that technical. Basically, this computerization and digitalization and softwares that have come in, like Google's and like Microsoft and like Words and this, that, and the other, they have now led us to be a generalist rather than a specialist. However, the technical background given in engineering and in, let's say, medical sciences and all that will help you at middle management or senior management level. But your skills would be diversified only if you take practical jobs.
All right, very interesting. I think we touched on all topics from who needs an MBA and how do we start going about it. I will end this lecture today. I would like to thank you guys for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe and turn on the post notifications and follow us on all social media. Thank you very much,
Okay, thank
Professor
you.
Victor.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You are always welcome.